Good morning. So today we're going to, excuse me, start with Blackboard and then we will go into the slides. You and your group are going to follow through this recording and it will take you through all the work that you need to accomplish during class today. Okay, let's start at the class schedule. So for this week, you will do the learning log for hack number 2. In Hacking Classroom Management. Please double check at the syllabus for the rubric, which is posted there about how those are graded. And then we're going to hop right into our lecture for today. Remember that Thursday we will be doing the presentations on Zoom. So each group will have 7 minutes. So please think that through, because I really don't want to cut you off, but we need to complete everything on Thursday. And so it's super important that you practice and time your presentation. I'm so looking forward to seeing what you found and what you discovered through your research and how you're going to present it. So looking forward to it. Okay, let's hop over here to week 4. Okay, and you'll notice here we've got some slides. You're going to be watching this, of course, with your group. You're already there and interacting according to prompts. The slides are there just in case you want to keep them for the future. There are maybe some resources there that you would like. The weekly assignment upload is here. So there is an assignment that you're going to do with the first year book. And you're going to do it as a group. You're going to read it together, but then you're going to answer your own individual questions, your own individual chart, because you're all applying this to your future classroom and you're not all the same. So please make sure that you do not turn in one for the group. All right, let's head into slides. All right, having a little trouble loading. Present. Okay, so I want to start with this particular slide. It talks about the 6 F's of a great classroom manager. And as you're reading through each one, I want you to think about how that will look for you, because it's going to be different to be fun in an AP English class than a kindergarten class. Okay, let's just kind of go back a little bit to the last time we met. Remember, part 1 of your classroom management plan is that you would build this relationship piece of your plan and how that relationship piece is going to look for each of you. You are going to watch these videos. There's an elementary example and there is a secondary example. And I think the best way to do this would be to pause this video and pull up the slides so that you have it sort of side by side. And that way you can select which video you want to watch. At the end of each video, take a minute to talk to your team about what you saw, what your impressions were, and how you might apply the ideas and concepts there into your own situation. So at this point, pause this Screencast-O-Matic, open up the slides, click and watch the video that your group chooses. And if you need to watch both, that's absolutely fine. And then you will move on. Okay, so now that you have either completed part 1 of your classroom management plan or you've been thinking about it, we're going to move past relationships and we're going to move into part 2, which is arrangement, routines, and procedures. And we will park here for this week and next week, and we're going to really look at how these things work in a classroom. This is just a screenshot of the page that comes out of your classroom management plan for how you are going to arrange. So you're going to design a visual in any particular way you want. It works best drawn and scanned in, though some people have had some luck using some computer-based programs. It depends on your skill level there. And then you're going to answer all of these questions about how your future classroom will look. So At this point, you've been in a lot of classrooms as a student and in practicum. However, let's talk about what the research says about arrangements. It's more than where the desks go, and that's what's really important to know. Okay, so this particular hold on one moment. Okay, so this first slide is the grid organization. And basically what this is it's the perfect setup if you're doing testing or individual work. But you have to remember that the trade-off of this type of setup is that you have a reduced social emotional learning. The interaction between the students is minimal. And so the questions I want you to discuss with your team are there on the slide. So go ahead and take a minute to do that. Pause the video and discuss. Okay, so I'm sure as you guys realize that this is a very teacher-controlled setup, teachers getting all of the attention, and it's very, very difficult to get around the room and to individual desks. There's just not enough space in between. This is a pairs layout. This is a really great layout for partner work, but also can work for individual work. The other plus of this setup is that you kind of can divide your room into columns, depending on how many of these columns that you have of 2 desks in each row. And so, for example, you could do an ABC where you ask A to do one task, B to do another task, C to do another task. And then you have a column of students working on a task and then sharing, which can be fun and can also inspire some competition. There's just some really cool ways. The plus to this is you can get around to different groups. There is more social emotional learning with partners than by yourself. The groups of 4 is a concept that I've used quite a bit. I believe that it works pretty well for all grade levels. It's sort of the heads together thought. So you can have the students facing each other at a table or 4 desks put together. There's a lot of collaboration and there's increased social emotional learning. So this particular setup works great for base groups, which is where each of these pods of 4 becomes a group and they get together at the beginning of the day. They talk about their day. They work on time management and organizational skills. They look at the tasks that they have, and they're sort of accountable to each other to help each other, which can be very helpful in inclusion settings. This setup works great for lab activities, also for centers, and it also works fantastically for Kagan. And we're about to talk about Kagan Strategies. So Kagan Strategies have been around for a very long time. And there are those people who think, oh, you know, the ship has sailed with technology. Kagan is so old school. But the truth is it's really not. And Kagan has reinvented itself and is now doing work with Nearpod and some other online interactive software. So Kagan is basically the quality and efficiency of learning. And they have an acronym called PIES, which is positive independence, individual accountability, equal participation, and simultaneous interaction. And so when a teacher is using Kagan strategies to improve how their students learn, they are teaching how to be independent. They are teaching how to be accountable for your own learning, how to take control of what you're learning. They make sure that everybody has a voice, and the voice is simultaneous, which means it's not a situation where people are just waiting around for their chance to answer a question. At this point, you are going to go back to the slides that you have pulled up. You're going to pause this video and you're going to open these videos to watch with your team. The very first one, everyone's going to watch it. And then in the next group, you can choose another video that you would like to watch. For the elementary video, it was a super long video. And so you're going to want to stop the video at around 3 minutes. Once you've seen the strategy at work, you can stop the video. So that would go for any of these. Once you've seen the strategy, you don't have to watch the rest. The other ones are pretty short. So go ahead and head on over, watch, and also discuss. This is the U shape. It's another one that I've used quite a bit, especially with 5th graders. the amazing thing about the U shape is that a lot of things can happen in the middle. So the way I designed this, I had a carpet with a lot of different kinds of seating, flexible seating in the center. And that's where they could take their laptops, lay down on the ground, do some work. And I had a lot of kind of comfy, couchy things in the center. And then the desks went around. And it encouraged discussion. Also, I could get to every single student this way. I could observe them. They could observe each other. The problem with this setup is that once they were in their seats, it wasn't really conducive to group work. But the positive thing about that is that I had other ways in order to do that group work. Okay, just some variety on that U-shape situation. You've got the U-shape with desks in the middle, and then you've got the double U. So depending on how many desks you have to put, this can be a really amazing option for you as well. I'm going to have you pause the video and just talk about U-shape and how that could work in your setting. Okay, this is the herringbone setup. And what's nice about this is that you do have attention to the teacher. Everyone's facing the same way. This is really helpful when you've got like a smart board or that's where your screen is. And that's where you're, showing your PowerPoint slides or all the different things that you could be doing with tech. It's good for class discussion. People can turn around, talk to the people behind them. They can talk to the people in their 3 group. They can talk to the people in front of them. Great for centers and technology. It's also another great way to do some competition or to have an A-B situation, left side of the room, right side of the room. The butterfly is a way that I've also tried that's really great. What's positive for this is that you have many different kinds of groups and small groups, and it gives you the option of having the corners. So those corners, which are very easy to get to for the teacher, could be somebody that needs individual attention, and you can see that those work. And then the center isn't necessarily 2 students. That could be a table where students can go, like a common table, they can go and do some work. The other thing I've seen people do is they eliminate their teacher desk and they become that center part. So that's just something to think about as well. And that's the butterfly. Okay, the next group of slides are that we're going to flip through are flexible seating opportunities. I want you to think about how these can be used, how they can be helpful, and if you've seen them, kind of talk about them. So we'll just feel free to pause at any point, and I'm just going to roll through these. Okay, I'm just going to stop here for a second. So you might say to yourself, well, some of these things look really cool, but how am I going to be able to afford them? So I had both of these types of chairs and also a different one, which I don't think I found a picture for, which was helpful for having a laptop on a carpet. So what I did was I went through my school and I asked for classroom funds, and I believe I received a couple of each. So I think I got 4 chairs out of that, which was fantastic. Then I went ahead and put an Amazon wish list up, and I sent it out to some people that I know that love to support education, and I was able to receive a couple more there. And then my husband and I just, kind of bit the bullet and bought some more. So between those 3 funding sources, myself, my school, and friends, I was able to get all of the things that I wanted. And the good thing about this kind of flexible seating is that you really can design it around the kind of students that you have, and you can purchase, one and try it out and then go back and get another one. There's lots of companies that do this, but they're also available on Amazon. Oh, here we go. This is the one I was talking about. Love this little work surface. I got it on Amazon. It's not very expensive. I believe it was around $14 for each one. And it was a bit ago, so it may be cheaper now. But it is absolutely fantastic. And I have seen it work with my third graders up to eighth graders. Okay, at this point, you are going to pause and do some more videos. Remember, you want to run them in the slideshow, not here in this video. So the first link everybody's going to watch, it's going to be a classroom tour. I just want you to get a concept of what classroom tours look like. It's really important to be watching classroom tours on YouTube of subjects that you like and schools that you're interested in, teachers that you follow on social media. And then I want you to choose another video or videos that you can watch, and the group decide when to stop for each of these. They are long, so I do not expect you to watch the entire thing. You can even skip through, but I've got a middle school, high school, a first grade, and a fifth grade option there. Okay, let's talk about how desk pets can be helpful. So secondary people, you might be shutting down now going, oh my gosh, I would never do a desk pet. What is so funny about this is that when I presented this to my 315 class last term, they kind of went crazy for it, and many were considering buying desk pets for themselves in a dorm pet situation. The concept is that it's a reward. And so there's a lot of information about why they work and how they can be helpful. And what you're going to do is stop here and watch this video, which is going to give you the overview of desk pets. So here's just some of the things. These actually, these are not my pictures, but I did have desk pets, and I purchased off of Teacher Pay Teacher this set actually of signs and cards, and because frankly I'm not that creative, and it was amazing because I could just print them out and laminate them and they were done. But we had this reward system where you could purchase little items for your pets. Everybody was given their original pet, and they would adopt it, and here's all of the agreement. Another thing that you can consider in your classroom as you're thinking about, well, layout and setup is having a place for students to go when they're struggling emotionally. These are beautiful setups. Mine were never this fancy, though I did have a beautiful room in my last school for my resource room that had a gorgeous tree that a teacher made for me out of paper, and it was huge. It took up the whole corner of the room, and she set up a beautiful area under the tree where my students could go to their calm down bin, and we had a comfy chair, and we had a little sweet animal called this little hedgehog, Hedgie. Anyway, so this is an example of a way to use that strategy. Some other things that you might want to consider as a piece of your classroom layout are things that students can use in those quiet down places or chill spots. There are lots of books out there that talk about that, mindfulness, relaxing, calming down. You can create a binder of activities. A lot of these you can find on Teacher Pay Teacher or for free, also on the internet, and you can print those down, put them in plastic sleeves. It's a great way to do it. And then having these kinds of fidgety items. With COVID, things have changed a little bit. We wouldn't use common fidgets, so that would be something that you would either have parents send in or you could purchase for your students. Okay, there are going to be policies and procedures posted on Blackboard. Not yet. We'll have that for our discussion for next week. But I'm going to be able to show you lots and lots of real-world options about how teachers determine these types of things. Okay, I'm going to flip through this slideshow. This is a slideshow that was built by a secondary teacher, and this was in order to share the rules and procedures and how things would work in the classroom with her students. And this was a real example from AP Literature and Comp, Miss Smith, and we're just going to go ahead and flash through it so you can see the kinds of information that she had. Okay, as you can see, she is starting with her policies here, and those policies are something that she is using in a rule setup, but she's calling them policies. And then she discusses very specifically why policies are important. So this is definitely a secondary PowerPoint because this would be a lot for younger kids to kind of take in. And there are her classroom policies. The rest of this slideshow is available in your slides if you would like to see each of these individual slides and kind of where she's going, but I just wanted to show you this example. One thing that she brings up are the possible behavioral consequences, and these are hers. So she has said, okay, here's where we're at. This is what I expect, and now here's the consequences if that isn't what happens. Then she does move forward with procedures, and you're going to be working on procedures with your team today, talking a little bit about procedures from the book My First Year. And so, but there are procedures here, and I'm just going to flash through them. You can go back and look at them individually. This will be a great way for you to consider your own policies and procedures as you are creating your classroom management plan. And there was her final thought. One thing I want you guys to sort of understand, and I put this slide in, I just added it to hers. Where would you share these? How could you share them? How can you create something that works for you, something that you have to consistently execute? So it's great to put these things on paper, but if you can't live them out daily in the classroom, the kids will lose respect for you, and that's really, really, really important. I also want you to think about what tone you would take, what is appropriate in 2021, 2022, 2023, and in the community that you want to create. Oh, sorry about that slide. That was from my previous class. So this one is for K4. It is the exact same thing. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and stop here. And if you are elementary, you can go ahead and go through this just to see the differences, and I'll just flash through a couple. It's basically the same thing, except it's laid out for younger kids. And so if you want to go back through that with your team right now, you absolutely can. But know that it's here, and know that it is going to be very helpful to you as you design your own. And I think I love the tone of this because it's what do I do when? How do I do this? I want to do the thing that you want me to do. I don't want a list of don't do's, right? These are the things I'm going to do. Okay, so we are back here at Blackboard. Please remember that those slides are available for you, and you can go back and look at them, spend as much time as you want on them as a team right now, or know that they're there. So now your weekly assignment. Please do not forget that you do have a learning log, and you need to turn that in before class. Okay, this is the assignment that you are going to be working on together. hopefully. There it is. Okay, so here is the page of your first year and the section that you are going to be reading together. So as the directions have here, read that section together. Just do round robin reading, or you can read silently. That's also fine. And you're going to stop and jot your aha independently, and then you're going to fill in the snapshot column here independently, and then have someone, at least one person or maybe more, share, depending on the time that you have. So you're going to look at chapters 1, 2, and 3. You're going to look at page 5, section materials, page 7, introduction, stop at pencils. It kind of tells you where to go, okay? And then after you read this section, you're going to independently write down the things that you want to capture. Remember those aha moments. This will stretch out to be as big as you want. Then I have a little prompt here that I want you to go ahead and respond to for each of these. So it's a one-pager, but I would expect that it could get a little bit bigger as you're making the cell big enough for your typing. That is going to be completed now and turned in before the end of your time. Okay, I am really looking forward to having time on Thursday to see what you have learned, to have you guys share with each other. Please be prepared to have one person on your team share their screen. Everyone will have screen sharing capabilities to share your screen with your slides. Also, you're going to upload those slides to Blackboard for me to be able to look through later as part of the grading process. And then I'll explain on Thursday. I do have a group sort of report out page that you're going to complete just to let me know how the collaboration went with your team. You will have 7 minutes from the time that you start talking, and I will have to cut you off if you go past that time because we have to get all the groups in on Thursday. This class is just going so fast. I can't believe it. I'm super excited to be on your journey with you as you discover how is it going to look in my future classroom. Thank you and have a fantastic rest of the day.